Okay, hi everyone. I think we're going to get started. Thank you very much for joining us today for our inaugural information webinar for our new certificate in cloud computing strategy. And again, I wanted to thank everyone for joining us today. I'll go over the agenda and I'm going to introduce you to a special guest. We have one of our instructors, Claude Sam-Foh, who is also on the line with us, and he will be co-facilitating this information webinar with me. And he will also be available at the end to take questions. And so if you could hold on to your questions until the very end, both Claude and I will be happy to answer any questions that you have. So moving on to the agenda, what I will cover today, and actually before I even do that, that's me and Claude there. I thought it would be nice to include some pictures of who's actually speaking today. So I will talk about the School of Continuing Studies. We'll do a pretty thorough overview of the Certificate in Cloud Computing Strategy. We'll talk to you a little bit about, why choose York University as your for your professional development needs. We'll talk about the program itself, all the details that that you're probably interested in, who should take the program, and also lastly, how to register for this exciting new program. Claude, did you just want to say hi to everyone?
Yes, I just want to say good afternoon to everyone, and I'm happy to be here. So at some time, I'll say a few words later.
All right, so stay tuned for Claude in just a moment. Okay, and as I mentioned, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the School of Continuing Studies. We're located on the main campus of York University's Keele campus, which is at Keele and Steeles. The actual school is very conveniently located near all of the 400 series highways. We're accessible now by TTC, of course. We've got the subway that runs through the campus, and we're also accessible via transit systems, York Region Transit System, and also the Brampton Transit System as well. And what we do is really provide meaningful continuing ed opportunities for primarily adult learners, which combine guided instruction with practical application. So all of our programs are very, very practical in nature. They've been designed to develop the well-rounded professional that employers value, with both the deep discipline-based knowledge and the broad skills that are required to communicate and be really effective within a multidisciplinary team. So in terms of the school, we can provide a variety of options that will suit your learning style and schedule. And of course, adding a recognized respected credential such as a York University professional certificate, it really hasn't been more convenient. And so at the very end, we are going to provide you with some contact information as well, so that you can call our continuing studies advisors and you can talk to them about your professional goals, and they are here to help you. So a little bit more about the school. We serve nearly 2,000 students that are currently taking continuing professional education certificates. And these are just some of the other programs that we offer in the through the School of Continuing Studies. We have a cybersecurity program, very, very successful. We have a very successful big data analytics program as well. We offer risk management, dispute resolution, IT audit, user experience, HR, accounting, business, public relations, digital, and content marketing as well. And I think that really what makes us different from our competitors in the continuing ed field is the following. So I'm just going to go through a few things that I think make our program and programs through the school very, very unique. Now, the very first thing is that each of our programs are cohort based. So they have been developed so that students progress through the program with the same group of people. And so this, of course, will forge closer relationships with peers in the class. So our programs are taken as a program. You cannot register for individual courses. The second unique aspect of our programs is that we have very experienced instructors that are actually working in industry, and they bring that experience and can share that experience that they've leveraged in the field to the classroom. So they're able to bring real life situations that they've actually encountered into the classroom. And of course, this makes it a much more engaging learning experience. And Claude will talk a little bit more about how he's incorporated, or how he and the other subject matter experts have incorporated these real life situations right into the program. The third thing is that our program is very flexible. This program is offered in a fully online program, in a fully online format, excuse me, and it will take you 6 months to complete. So of course, it's an accelerated format, and it's the only program in cloud computing strategy that is available fully online in Canada. The fourth is that we will provide you with networking opportunities in this program. So the very first thing is, not only are you in a cohort, so you'll get to know the other students in the class very well, you'll also get to know the instructors, but we also do provide one optional in-class face-to-face networking opportunity. It's going to be a career panel that we've integrated into the program, and we will invite all of the students to participate in the career panel. If you cannot participate for whatever reason, because you're busy at work and so forth, we do plan to record it for those that cannot attend. But of course, if you are in driving distance from the York University campus, it would be great for you to come out and actually meet some of the students face to face. Again, this session is not mandatory, it's just an added bonus. The next point that I wanted to make was that we have a very strong program advisory committee that we have struck, and all of the advisory council members are right now, you can take a look at their profiles on our website, and they play a really important role because they help us oversee the content and ensure that we keep the content current all the time, right? And then the last one is that the last point that I wanted to make was that through extensive research that we conducted, employers reported that there are specific cross-functional competencies or soft skills that are really lacking in this actual talent pool. And I'm going to talk a little bit about them in the next slide. And so what we've done is we have captured these cross-functional competencies and we have integrated them deliberately into the program. So they've been interwoven throughout the program. Things like analytical and critical thinking and presentation skills and all those really important cross-functional skills will be interwoven into the program. So that's a good segue to the next slide, which is about the T-shaped professional. And so in our program and in all of our programs, the goal is to produce graduates who are T-shaped professionals. And really what that means is that not only do our graduates have the core skills to do the job, which is the bottom of the T that you see here on the screen, but they also have cross-functional skills that will help them succeed in that specific career, which are on the top of the T. So when we met with our advisory council, some of the cross-functional competencies that they identified as the critical ones that they felt were lacking in the current talent pool in relation to cloud computing are analytical and critical thinking. That was the very first one that they identified. The second one was communication and collaboration. The third was emotional intelligence, negotiation and influencing. The fourth was business acumen. The fifth was presentation skills. And the last cross-functional skill was project management. So those were the cross-functional competencies that they identified, and those are the ones that we will be integrating into the program so that not only will our graduates actually learn the core skills to do the job, but they will be able to hit the ground running. They'll be able to get either that promotion internally in their organization or apply for that job. So the next slide, I'm going to turn it over to Claude.
Okay, hello. I hope you can hear me well. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here and trying to pick up a little on what we have to offer. So in this slide, we're talking about the top 5 skills needed in Canadian organization. I'm sure you have heard about cloud computing, people talk about that. And today, the reality is not a question of whether or not we are going to the cloud. The question is really when. In fact, most organizations are developing strategies in terms of how do we go to the cloud. And certainly it is not going to be an easy journey. There are issues. Some of these we are going to discuss. But one thing I just want to share with you is that if you look at your own individual life, I am sure in many instances you are already connected to the cloud ahead perhaps of many organizations. If you own an iPad, I am sure you have an iCloud account. If you have the Samsung tablets, they're also connected to the cloud. Whether you have appliances or you have a Facebook, Twitter account, all these have connection to the cloud. So really, as an individual, we are connected by through the services that we enjoy, we are connected to the cloud. So organization are in a way catching up to move to the cloud. And that is why today cloud skills are more than important to be able to help the organization to connect to the cloud and so as we can ensure a better journey. So what are we looking at when we look at the job market in this sector? As I mentioned to you, most organizations are developing some kind of journey map to move to the cloud. And many of them just would require the knowledge and skills of its employees to do that. And there is also the element of fear factor as you hear all the threats, all the privacy issues that are hitting organization today. Many executives are saying, wait a minute here, we don't want to have breaches this way. So on one side, they would like to move as fast as possible. On the other side, there is that a uh, issue of are we ready? Can we manage those breaches? What if we get breached? What is going to happen? And one thing I can tell you, we are all going to get breached one day or the other. It's not a matter of not again whether or not we will. It's a question of when, because hackers every day, like every 4.3 seconds, we have a new virus hitting the market. So we are going to be hit all over the place. So the type of preparation an organization would need to do is where you all can fit in through this course that is going to give you the skills and competency ready to help the organization. And this is going to be a booming industry. And just to let you know, I'm sure you all heard about Office 365, and Microsoft has already moved to the cloud with its deployment of Office. And in fact, the deployment of Office today to 365 has nearly tripled in most organizations. So we are already moving to the cloud. And as indicated, there's 300%, and I'm sure it may even be more in terms of cloud computing jobs, and that would be available in the market. So you might wonder, who are the people that would be able to help those organizations? Many of you here listening may already be in organization attempting or already in the journey to the cloud. So whether you are in IT operation, consulting, whether you are in the business area or in sales or any related fields, you are all potentially candidates that would be able to help the organization. You see, cloud is not just one aspect of the enterprise that we say, okay, this is that section, we fix that section and we move to the cloud. The cloud will involve all areas of the organization. It's just not one department going to the cloud, it's the whole enterprise that is moving to the cloud. And that's what makes it very relevant to have the right skills and competency to be able to help. And second, it gives you a very wide opportunity to be able to pick an area where you would be able to help. Maybe you might think that cloud is too technical for me. This is not maybe my cup of tea, but you still need a very business strategist to be able to develop roadmap to move in the cloud. You need to have the business acumen to be able to do that. And of course, you will be able to understand the technical part, but there are various levels of entries into that business.
Yes, Marina back here. So why choose York University? I think I went through this earlier, but I just did want to stress the three main things here that are on the screen, which is the very first one, which is that this program is 100% online. You can study anywhere at any time. It's accelerated learning, so you can finish the entire program, all three courses in 6 months. And of course, Claude and the other instructors are going to integrate real world case studies, which are going to be, leading edge case studies that they'll be able to implement into the program. And so I am going to also do the next slide, which is the actual structure of the program. And I think that this is a reinforcement of what I just said, which was that, the program is 6 months. It'll help students balance their professional and personal commitments, that students can log in, they can study and participate in all of the online discussion forums on their own time, and you can submit your work, you can talk to your instructor and log off when you need to. So the program, again, very, very flexible. It's asynchronous in nature, so it is, again, very flexible for the working professional. So I'm going to turn it over to Claude, who's going to talk about the three courses that make up our program.
Okay, so I'm sure you're all waiting. So what is going to be on the menu? So I'm here to tell you the menu that we put together so as we can have maximum coverage of that discipline of cloud computing. So basically, the course is in three parts, and the first course will give you the key assets to understand cloud computing. One cannot just implement cloud computing before understanding the basic elements that is cloud computing, whether you're looking at services available. So this very first course will provide you, whether you are a manager, whether you are a technologist, is providing you the key elements, both current, because that's what we would bring the three instructors, the currency of what is happening right now in the area of cloud computing. In fact, by the time we start course number one, I'm sure that there are other things that is going to come up, and we as instructors, we constantly scan the environment so as we bring the very latest to you students. So in this course then, we provide you with the basic knowledge, the fundamentals for you to be able to talk the language. So if you are a manager or you are a strategist, you would be able to take this course and be able to be part of the conversation with senior executive, helping them to navigate the cloud computing discipline and help them to decide accordingly. With this foundation laid for you, now we are going to build, just like Lego blocks, we are going to build on that foundation. And the very first block is about strategy and governance, because the issue, whether security, privacy, accessibility, are very important. One should not just implement cloud without a proper strategy. So in order to ensure a successful building, a successful building block, a successful enterprise, one needs to have a very strong strategy. And that also can help the organization to digitally transform itself. And this course number two is providing you with the first building block to ensure you have a solid structure to build on. So cloud strategy, governance, and of course, we are covering areas of security, privacy, accessibility, and as you know, these are very important elements of governance to ensure. And you will, and I'll mention that to you later, all three instructors have a strong enterprise architecture. I, for myself, I was formerly Chief Enterprise Architect and Chief Cybersecurity Officer, and these are very important to ensure proper governance of the enterprise. So in course number 3, this is where we talk about implementation strategies and giving you hands-on practice of how you actually adopt the cloud. Because adopting the cloud is not just a, hey, let's buy something off the shelf and then that's it. There's the maintenance and taking care of the cloud to ensure, because threat is continuous. You don't move into the cloud without ensuring that you constantly monitor what is happening. So course number 3 has a technical component and also very applied focus. And we want to make sure that covering the courses, you will become a practitioner. Theory is important, but practice built on theory provides the best combination to ensure the success of yourself and of the enterprise. So in order to provide you with such a menu, we are just like good cooks, to ensure to provide you with the right elements and the right balance between theory and practice. So the 3 courses will be taught by 3 instructors, as I mentioned to you. All 3 of us are well grounded in IT and also enterprise architecture and security. The first fundamentals of cloud computing will be taught by Leo, who is been working with Microsoft, and you will have the expertise from at least one of the big giant of this world, and many years of experience in cloud platform, and you will basically get a very good foundation with Leo. I'll take over the second course, providing the strategic guidance and governance to ensure you have the right structure in place. We will cover security, privacy, accessibility, and how we can ensure. And part of course number 2 will help you to assess the cloud for its adoption and also build a business case. Because in this course, you will need the skills to talk to this executive of the enterprise. And that's where we are going to focus, that you will be able to have the right tools to be able to talk to the senior executive. And in course number 3, where we take an applied focus of cloud adoption, this is where Wassam was my colleague, and he's a senior application architect and in security. So he will be able to take you through some hands-on exercise and provide you with the practical expertise in order to implement and get ready for cloud adoption. So this course number 3 would be fairly practical, where you are going to get your hands dirty in a way, and to be able to experiment. And of course, we are not picking any one a platform. We are going to be multi-platform to give you the best element of choice, whether you are in Google, Azure, Oracle. So you will be getting the right combination and be able to ask the right questions. So this is the menu we have for you with the 3 of us that would take you through the 6 months.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Claude, for that. Appreciate it. And Claude is going to stay on the line with us so that he could answer any questions at the end. We're getting close to the end of our presentation. I wanted to take an opportunity to let you know that this program is launching in the winter of 2020. The full schedule is available on our website, and the program starts the 20th of January of 2020. And of course, it starts with the first course, then the second and third. And registration is open, and full schedules again are on our website. Our website is continue.yorku.ca. And in terms of contact information, Mike Kosiba is our continuing studies advisor. And as I mentioned earlier, if you have any questions about your career and so forth, and you need some advising, please feel free to reach out to Mike at continue@yorku.ca. He is also available by telephone at 416-736-5616. And then we're going to move now. I'm just going to be available now for questions for both Claude and myself. And I see that some have already come in. So Claude, what I'll do is I will read the question out, and I think that these two here are probably for you. The first question is, will there be any vendor-specific training in the curriculum like Azure or AWS?
Okay, so we are not promoting one in particular. However, we are going to talk about all the major ones, and many of us have expertise in one or the other. And I'm sure during the course, you will be most welcome to address any particular issue, like if your enterprise is moving to Azure, for example. I am sure we would be able to address some of the questions, but there will not be any vendor specific type of a training. These would be generic, but you will be able to tap on the expertise of each of the instructor in order to address your questions.
Okay, the next question is how many hours are in the full curriculum? So each course is 36 hours in length. And because this is a new course, we can't tell you exactly how many hours per week students are dedicating to their work. But in general, I guess on an average, just based on my experience managing other programs that are fully online, the average time that students spend on each course is about 4 to 6 hours roughly per week. And again, that's very, it's very subjective, depends on the student. Now, what does that include? It includes your time participating in the online discussions. It includes reading, and it includes working on any kind of assignment. What happens if I can't make it in 6 months due to a business trip? That is a case by case. If you have an issue that directly relates to your personal situation, I would please recommend that you contact Mike and talk to Mike. I'll put his information back up on the screen. Are there any set times that the online participation discussion happens, or are you pacing yourself during the course? Yes, so each course is, we've built this asynchronously. So that means that there is no live component to the course, with the exception of that optional in-class career panel event that I mentioned during the presentation. Other than that, the participation happens asynchronously. So for example, Claude in his course, he may have a discussion topic for week 2. You would go in and you would participate in the discussion, and maybe you would get replies from other students at other times of the day. So it's asynchronous. So I hope that helps kind of understand a little bit more about how the online works. Does the training help to get admitted into an MBA at York? Unfortunately, all of our courses are non-credit. So you couldn't use them as direct entry into an MBA, but it always could look good on your resume because for an MBA, you probably have to submit a resume. So I'm sure it'll look good on your application, but no, it can't really directly help you get into an MBA here at York. Are there tests for each course, final exam, etc.? So maybe Claude, did you want to talk about maybe some of the
Yes.
assessments?
So, so generally, a part of the purpose of the test is to make sure that there is understanding. It's not just to test you for the purpose of the test. So we have a regular test that can be an assignment. A big component, of course, is on the participation. And remember, all these tests will be geared towards ensuring there's proper understanding. So yes, there will be evaluation, short assignment, and group work and discussion, case study. For example, as I mentioned in my course, there is a business case. You'll have an opportunity to create a business case. So these are very practical assignment that you will be able to leverage and then use it. And I think that's where we want to position. It's not an assignment, just an assignment. It's something that will be of a current issue that you will be able to apply right in your enterprise. So it will benefit you as well in your own enterprise, wherever you are.
Okay, great. Thank you. In terms of the tuition for each course, I wanted to mention that the tuition for the full program is $32.97. That's $3,297, and that includes all 3 courses in the program. Okay, and you do receive an official certificate from York University once you successfully complete the program. Okay, so the program certificate would be a certificate in cloud computing strategy. I have a question about English language requirements. No, there are no English language requirements for this program. One last question about how are the exams? Are they part of the class? Being online?
Okay, so just to give you an example, for example, in one of the course, you might get a question. Let's say I'll pick one at random, security in the cloud. So I might ask you, what are some of the security issues? Or I can give you a case, you read, and then people go online and then comment, and you can comment on each other. That would be part of the discussion. Or I can give you a short assignment in a case, identify the security areas of that particular cloud implementation. So this would be individual. You go and then you write, 1 or 2 pager on identifying the security or privacy issues in the cloud. So they are very targeted. They are not like long essay. It is very short and to the point. And these are created in order to ensure that learning takes place. And because these are real issues, and I'm sure in an enterprise, your senior manager would be saying, in our enterprise, what privacy issues do you see? Well, you'll get to write on that. And of course, leveraging your own experience is going to help as well. And group work, there will be a group work. So we might give a case study and then we'll put you in groups. And then as a group, you're going to do everything online. And I'm sure there's a lot of tools out there, whether Google Hangout or Skype, where you can collaborate and then produce something by the end of the course.
Great. And actually, as a really good segue, I wanted to, I guess, reinforce the fact that because this is a fully online course, it does not mean that just because you don't see the instructor, that it's not going to be hands-on and interactive. All of the online programs that we develop through the School of Continuing Studies are, we develop them to be as interactive as possible. So as Claude mentioned, there's going to be a lot of interaction on the online discussion boards. You will be working with your peers in different group-related activities. Everything that we have developed that goes online, it will tie back into real-world benefits and applications. And of course, the use of those discussion boards are going to be critical, right? So Claude indicated that there's a participation grade also that is incorporated into the assessment. So students will be participating actively on the discussions because part of their grade is going to be tied to interactions on the online discussion boards. So I just wanted to be very clear that this is not self-directed learning. This is online learning that is going to be very engaging. It's going to be very interactive, and it's not going to be self-directed whatsoever. I have a question here about, is there any preparation for Microsoft exams? I think that Claude has said this a few times. We are taking an agnostic approach to this program. If you have any future ambition to become certified with Microsoft through Microsoft Azure, or if you want to get certified through AWS, you can go ahead and do that after the fact, but we do not incorporate any kind of certification into this program.
Yeah, if I may add on something, Marina, just for you to know, many of the instructors have various certification, and we would be able to provide some guidance, industry guidance in terms of those certification and guide you through. So remember, not only we are here to teach, but we are also as a coach to you. And based on our own experience, we would be able to provide you how you can leverage some of the certification we have and be able to provide you guidance for your own wishes in terms of your career path.
That's excellent. Thanks for adding that, Claude. Okay. I think that we can wrap up. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank Claude very, very much for being here with us today. Thank you for your contribution to this webinar. It was excellent. And thank you to the audience for joining us. And thank you for your interest in this program. We hope to see you in the classroom. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to give Mike Kosiba a call or email him. And we wish you a very, very lovely day. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.